everyone. What we will do is we will try to cover this particular presentation in broadly two parts. One is talking about what's happening in the startup world, and the second about our fund as well. But before we start, I just thought, while we informally discussed and chat, but now just asking you, has anyone of you invested into startup or AF, CAT2 or this is your first time venture?
For the first time.
First time, right? Or startups?
Unicorn.
Acha, unicorn. Oh, very nice. Anyone otherwise?
So I have been I've been investing into funds, into VCs and PEs.
Okay.
So I've been doing since 2016 now.
Oh wow. So you've been a veteran then. Sir, can I sit here and you can explain it? You are truly a veteran, right? By the way, each one of you, and I'm saying because what I've heard is a lot of you have business, so technically all of you are running your own startups.
Okay.
Correct? It's just a good nomenclature दिया हुआ कि भैया मैं startup करता हूँ, otherwise और this entire बोलते हैं ना, अगर मैं 40 साल पुराना देखूँ या 30 साल पहले तो क्या था, आओ धंधे में लगो, right?
Correct.
धंधे में लगो तो धंधे में लगो is nothing else but a startup. एक अच्छा I would say नाम दे दिया. अगर पहले हम लोग को पैसा रेज करना था तो क्या करते थे यार, फ्रेंड फैमिली से पैसा मांगते थे. अभी अब मार्केट मैच्योर हो गई तो कैपिटल, दैट इज व्हाट in simple word, structured way ho gaya. That is what startup in very simple way I would like to call it. What we'll do is quickly formally introduce ourselves, who we are, what we do. Maybe we'll start with Palak because she's been again with us for more than a decade. So Palak, you want to quickly give your background, then Chinmay, and then maybe myself.
Yeah, sure. So myself, Palak Abali. I have almost 14 years of experience. I'm a chartered accountant. Prior to BLinC, I was part of a education company which was into skill development. It's Imarticus Learning. So I had joined that company early days when they were like doing 5 crore of revenue, was part of their core growth team. So when I moved out after 6 years, it was doing 150 crores of revenue. So I was part of the core scale, which what we saw from 5 to 150 crore, working closely with the founders. And I was heading the finance over there as a finance controller. So additionally, just not restricting to finance, but also supporting the founders in operations as well, because it was a center-based model. So they have centers across India, around 14 centers. So setting up those centers and processes. And apart from that, I also led the round of fundraising over there, both equity and debt. So we almost raised 20 crores during my tenure. And we also acquired one company. So that was about Imarticus Learning, which is now also going to an IPO. So they have already filed an application for the IPO, and currently they are doing around 250 crores of revenue. And here I head the education investments.
No, thank you, Palak. Chinmay.
Sure. Hi everyone, I'm Chinmay Marukar. I'm also a chartered accountant. I did my CA about 13 years back. Initial fee was working in a startup called housing.com for about 3.5-4 years, mainly on fundraising and acquisitions. So did fundraising for multiple like SoftBank, Nexus, Serian, raised over $100 million. Also worked on 4 buyouts for the company, which were mainly strategic in nature. Post that, joined a US-based consulting company called Duff & Phelps, was based in their Mumbai office. So worked on M&A advisory for banks across sectors, power, EPC, education for real estate, deals over $1 billion, spent about 4 years there. BLinC I joined about 5 years back. I look at the fintech investments in the fund.
Thank you, Chinmay. The reason I introduced both of them because they are my right and left people, right? I am only surviving because of them. So thank you very much, Palak and Chinmay. Both are part of the investment committee as well. Very quickly, my background is chartered accountant. I don't know, again, we are screwed with chartered accountant. And an alumna of Harvard Business School as well. So first 10 years in financial services between Birla Sun Life and ICICI Bank. Therein, I would have built 6 different businesses as early as 2000, built the e-broking business, depository business, part of the common team which built this entire distribution business way back in 2004-05. Then that was at ICICI Bank. Again, looked after a couple of businesses there. Entire offshore asset management business from scratch moved to almost like a very large number fund of fund business, and also looked after their product and strategy for the global expansion. Right? If you would have seen that from 2005 onwards, ICICI just went global, UK, Singapore, Bahrain, across the world. I was looking at the product and strategy. 11 years in financial services, I said, what next, right? Broking kar diya, banking kar diya, everything did. And that's where I thought that, hey, I love to get into private equity. So that is my journey, has been from last 15 years. And I'm very, very clear what we want to do, what we don't like to do. Idea or the passion is about building business. That was the premises of everything. But before I go out and raise capital, I thought, yeah, if I'm taking money from you, let me see if I can put my own capital and put to use, right? So, invested into 4 companies. We'll talk more about that between education and financial services. And that company delivered 6-7 times multiple. That's right. 6-7 times multiple. No, not that. The summary. Yeah. That delivered about 6-7 times multiple. Then launch. Because of success, I was confident and said that now is a good time for me to launch a formal fund structure, which we launched in 2021. We raised 100 crores. And now, after 5 odd years, we are raising a 200 crores. And out of 200 crores, we got a commitment of 70-75 crores. We'll talk more about this. But just to give you a overall highlight who we are and what's my background as well. As I mentioned to you, is we'll quickly cover the importance of startup, but since few of them are already investors, but in the benefit of everyone, just quickly skim through and then go specifically to BLinC Fund 2. But again, we'll keep it as much as a Q&A session so that we all understand each other. That's the objective out here, right? Just, yeah. So I mean to say why, as I mentioned to you, why the importance of startup and Q important. And this is something which I mentioned as an entrepreneur. पहले क्या था, own saving, friends and family, bank loans, local money lenders, community borrowing से पैसा आता था. The same thing has been changed from friends and family, angel investor, venture funds, corporate VC, private equity. This has become more formal structure, as you rightly said, more organized. This is what is a transition happens. So ऐसा नहीं है कि startup और entrepreneurship पहले नहीं था. पहले भी था, अभी भी है. Right? That's why the Billas are for 100 years or Tatas are for 150 years, right? Or whatever name we can talk about. Actually, Bajaj is the oldest, 150 years. They're much before Tatas, actually speaking. Yes. Right? And these are different asset classes. And this is also evolved as the market matured, right? Agar aap 2000, let's talk about 95, right? 95 में कहाँ invest करने का? Either fixed deposit होगा या equity.
Real estate होगा.
हाँ, real estate. 3.
Equity भी बहुत कम है.
नहीं, चौथा गोल्ड भी है ना. गोल्ड तो था ही, वो तो इंडिया इज अ नेशन. हाँ, वो जनरेशन से था.
लेकिन वो कैश में ज्यादा होता था.
कैश में ज्यादा होता था. करेक्ट. No, I agree with you. So this was always there. But as the market matured, right, with the mutual fund industry happened, like, growth up. जब मैं mutual fund में था in Birla Sun Life, 10,000 crores was Birla Mutual. In fact, 10,000 crore touch नहीं हुआ. I still remember 9,970 crores. To get that 30 crores was like, क्या हो रहा है? We launched an equity fund called Birla Dividend Yield Fund. I don't know how many of you would have heard of that. And mobilizing that 50 crores was a celebration. Where they took us all the way to Dubai. Think about the era. 50 crores, you go to Dubai, right? Abhi 5,000 crore ko bolte to kya ho gaya? So I'm saying, if you see, the markets have completely evolved. What we talk about, SIP 2 lakhs, like SIP per month running into few thousand crores. It's just crazy expansion happened. And because each one of us have created wealth for themselves and for multiple reasons. And that is the reason there is a need of different asset classes. And that's why I would say the importance of seeing how do we maximize it, right? Whether it is equity, commodity, pehle gold rehte tha, but now you can play in different commodities, including iron, steel, copper, all this. Real estate, as you rightly mentioned. Real estate may be commercial real estate, retail real estate, which was not there, right? आपको पहले नहीं थी, अगर आपको real estate में डालना, lease as a concept was not there. Rental था, वो भी एक shop थी. Debt, apart, now you can invest into government securities, direct bonds, corporate bonds, a lot of this. So the depth of the market is, and let's talk about the return and risk. Absolutely, first of all, let's be clear. Return is high in early stage companies, OIF, and private credit obviously is part of debt more, but put it like this. But the risk are also very high. And the horizon is 5 to 7 years, right? So it's about, end of the day, when we make investments, when we make means from a personal perspective, it's all about to create a portfolio of right mix of equity, debt and all this. And what I give a very simple example, it's like your लंच थाली और डिनर थाली, थोड़ा कार्बोहाइड्रेट चाहिए, थोड़ा प्रोटीन भी चाहिए, थोड़ा फाइबर भी चाहिए, राइट? यू नीड दैट कॉम्बिनेशन. यहाँ पे भी कॉम्बिनेशन चाहिए. यू कांट ओनली हैव दिस, यू कांट हैव ओनली दिस, बिकॉज यू नीड अ बैलेंस अप्रोच. यस, यू कैन बी लकी वेयर आपने पूरा इक्विटी में डाला एंड जस्ट जूम अप, बट द क्वेश्चन इज देयर आर वेरी फ्यू. Very, very few. Hence, we need this portfolio approach. We need the diversification approach as well. Deep dive quickly on the startup world, as you would just see purely these numbers, number of deals which has happened running into few thousand thing, the amount of investment as in, during COVID was crazy, right? And this $40 billion is because of all the money taken by Reliance, as you and I know.
So in 2021,
$38.9 billion was raised. But if you recall, Jio raised the highest money, almost $14 billion was raised from Meta, Google and all this. तो वो एक है, थोड़ा बाइजू भी है. But this was an abnormal year. But if you see consistently, they were raising between 10 to 11 billion dollars.
and even your fund too was raised between 2021 and 22.
Yes, peak years.
Even fintech was at the peak at that point of time.
Everything was peak.
Yeah.
Everything was at peak, except real estate.
Except real estate.
Yes, everything was at peak. Absolutely, this was there. And even from an AIF fund perspective, it's a crazy growth. From 4.5 billion lakh crore is almost like a 15.7. So overall, the market has grown, the market has matured, and we'll talk about good and bad both. But yes, there is what it shows that there is a lot of liquidity and surplus available in the market, and people have made tons of money. In fact, the cycle will go on, in my view, for another 10, 15, 20. And the reason is, let's understand, the number of IPO which has come up in the last 2 years. Just think about every promoter would have got in his bank account between 100 crores to thousands of crores. Right? Because as you go IPO, कुछ आप कंपनी में पैसा रेज करो, कुछ सेकेंडरी होगा. वो क्या करेगा? वो डायरेक्ट पब्लिक मार्केट में, so that cycle is not going to close. Right? And hence, because of this cycle, there will be more and more capital which will come, more and more growth will happen. And it's a cycle which will, in my view, keep on going for next 10, 15, 20 years. It is just a start of the cycle. And it's so consistent now, in fact. And a lot of these companies, हम लोग ने सुना भी नहीं होगा. Right? कैसे भी कंपनी हो सकती है, right? And that's the beauty. So depth of the market also coming in. And that's why if you see in the last 2-3 years, FI has been net negative. But it's the domestic which is now fueling the growth. So this is not what I would say temporary, but very strategic for next 10-15 years, right? In fact, and the best example which I gave is, if you go to any overseas destination, आप कहीं भी जाओगे, अगर 10 लोग हैं उसमें से 2 से डिपेंड कहाँ पे 2 से 5 इंडियन दिखते हैं. So amount of money they are spending is abnormally high. That's the wealth which has got created now across the board. This just gives you a perspective. Lot of companies, names you would have heard of it, ranging Zomato, who has spoiled our habits, to Paytm, which has eased the matter of transaction, to a lot of these companies, right? If you see Yatra, Mama, Digit, Grow, all these are like completely changed the way people look at it, right? So, and all these are from the startup world. So and the beauty is that a lot of these companies have gone through an IPO. पहले क्या था, आप startup में डालोगे, exit कैसे करोगे? But now the mode of exit, IPO has become quite an important mode of exit. It was not there 2 years or 3 years back. So this is what has happened. Mergers and acquisition has become big. The bigger you become, then you keep on either consolidate your position, or आप बोलोगे यार मैं equity में आज broking कर रहा हूँ यार मैं. I can take example of lot of builders. They started with broking. फिर बोलता है यार ये 2 building उसमें develop करते हैं, they become big brokers. And there is a transition which everyone has seen across the board, right? This is probably the last slide around this, but before that, any questions? I'll pause right now. कोई भी अगर है तो in general about the market, about what I shared. Any thoughts around this? Good. This is generally a life cycle which is now become a very what I would call it. The reason now we are able to put into these buckets because ये काफी professional हो गया, काफी organized हो गया, and it is very important that each one of us has to understand the risks involved at each stage and what is the reward also at each stage. And even if I look at from a BLinC perspective, where do we come in? Because the risk rewards are very different, right? So if you really look at where do BLinC come in, it's here. This is the place where we make investments. Neither here. Right? So if you look at seed stage, is nothing else but I like my concept. अच्छा है, चलो 50 लाख 1 करोड़, whatever that amount आप raise करो, which is like pre-seed. The whole objective out here is मैं आइडिया है, देखता हूँ ये चलेगा नहीं चलेगा, मार्केट वैलिडेशन करेंगे, ये करेंगे. बाद में अगर थोड़ा मार्केट वैलिडेशन हो, they raise little more money, which is product market fit, right? And उस टाइम में होता है. But when generally series A is the time when आपको मालूम है कि ये प्रोडक्ट चलने वाला है, कौन कस्टमर उसको खरीदेगा, आपको कस्टमर को कैसे रीच करना है वो भी आपको मालूम है, राइट? And I can give you multiple examples, like, and since we are investing in 2 sectors like education and financial services, education का ही अगर आप देख लेंगे, प्री स्कूल, राइट? अगर 15 साल पहले बोले प्री स्कूल कौन जाएगा, क्यों जाएगा, राइट? कोई जरूरत नहीं है, क्या है? बट टुडे ऑलमोस्ट एवरी लेन में प्री स्कूल होगी. नॉट ओनली दैट, डिफरेंट कैटेगरीज ऑफ प्री स्कूल होगी. किसी को 25,000 साल का खर्चा करना, उसके लिए भी प्री स्कूल है. किसी को 1 लाख साल का करना, उसके लिए भी है. किसी को 4 लाख करना, उसके लिए भी है. एंड दैट इवन इफ यू लुक एट बॉम्बे, फ्रॉम लिटरली आई एम सेइंग फ्रॉम दहीसर टू नरिमन पॉइंट, इवन प्लेस लाइक बोरीवली में आपको तीनों कैटेगरी मिलेंगे, इवन इन चर्चगेट में तीनों कैटेगरी मिलेंगे. सो दैट्स द ब्यूटी ऑफ दिस, राइट? एंड दैट इज वेयर what I would call product market fit, go to market, and all this comes in place. Right? This is the time when we get into कि आपका product market fit ready है, go to market ready है, और उसकी आपकी revenue है 3-5 करोड़ साल की. That means founders have worked together. आप एक दूसरे को जानते हो, मालूम है कि धंधा हो रहा है, right? ऐसा नहीं हवा में ये है. उसके बाद
business is already in place now.
Exactly. The business is in place now. It's about growth, right? That's the time we want to come in. And उसके बाद they keep on raising multiple rounds of capital for multiple reasons. Could be expansion, could be scale up, could be acquisition, and ultimately liquidation, can IPO, mergers and acquisition, all this. And there are very different stages of investors which has happened, right? And sometimes they don't raise any capital after a while, like Marticus Learning, where we are. I'm still an investor because they acquired a company recently. Now it's 250. What she said has added to another 250. So think about it. 250 करोड़ की रेवेन्यू कंपनी, उसने एक कंपनी खरीदा अभी, it's yet, now it will be in public soon. 500 करोड़ रेवेन्यू का 100 करोड़ का प्रॉफिट. So
और कुछ पैसा रेज नहीं किया,
कुछ भी नहीं, हार्डली. इक्विटी में सिर्फ 26 करोड़ रेज किया. So this is it also shows the quality of business, but it also shows how the mature the markets are becoming as well. दोनों चीज इंपॉर्टेंट है, राइट? एंड उसके लिए डेट भी फंडिंग हुई. दैट्स अ ब्यूटी, इज व्हाट आई वांट टू पुट इट लाइक दिस. ठीक है? एनी क्वेश्चंस? अदरवाइज वी कैन क्विकली गो टू हु वी आर एंड व्हाट वी डू. हाँ, सॉरी, बोलिए ना.
So how you are making sure that you are going to select from that pre-series A? How that business can progress and continue to go up to the IPO? How you are doing that?
That's where we are. That's the presentation I'm going to talk about. So thank you for that. You literally pushed me on that, which is great for that. We spoke about the team quickly on this piece. Where approach is what we do, how we do. This slide is very important to understand our DNA. Okay? So we are only investing in last 14 years. We've been only investing in 2 sectors, that is education and financial services. That's it. Because यही 2 मुझे सेक्टर समझ में आता हम लोग को as a team. If you really look at now, आप बोलोगे यार मैंने पलक as a CA को क्यों लिया और चिन्मय as a team क्यों join हो रहे? Look at पलक experience. Only education sector, operation side of business, nuts and bolts, right? जब 5 करोड़ की रेवेन्यू थी, आज 150 करोड़ रेवेन्यू, मीन्स आपको मालूम है 5 करोड़ रेवेन्यू में क्या चैलेंज होती है और 25 करोड़ में क्या होती है, 100 करोड़ में क्या होता है, राइट? दैट्स द एक्सपर्टीज शी ब्रिंग्स इन. चिन्मय brings in financial services experience, mergers and acquisition. So that's a good combination from a team perspective as well, right? That's why we have education, that's why we have financial services. And why I choose education financial services, it was very simple. पहला 10 साल मैंने financial service में बिताया, तो मेरे लिए easy था. In 2010, I raised a fund and I sold my equity stake from that fund. वो एजुकेशन था. क्यों एजुकेशन? बहुत सिंपल था. इन्वेस्टर मुझे मिले जो एजुकेशन में डालने, तो मैंने बोला रेज कर दो. आई वांटेड टू गेट इनटू प्राइवेट इक्विटी. आई वाज टू नाइव टू अंडरस्टैंड. बट द ब्यूटी इज दैट education is the only sector which changes the economy. Education is the only sector survived COVID beautifully. In fact, it was a boom of education sector. And education is the only sector, specifically India, where studies went in that between 20 to 40% of the income, every parent will spend on education for the child. It is so fundamental in nature. You can't change it. You just can't change it. And uski depth bhi bahut hai.
No alternative.
Actually, there is no alternative. To be honest. Absolutely, that's the truth.
But there is a competition also, right?
देखिए सर, इंडिया में कंपटीशन कहाँ नहीं है, मैं तो उतना ही बोलता हूँ. आज अगर आप कहीं भी देखो मैं तो कंपटीशन में तो बोला, इवन समोसा वाले जो हमारे कोने में होते हैं वहाँ पे भी कंपटीशन है, फिर भी डिमांड इतनी है ना, इट्स अनबिलीवेबल डिमांड.
कंपटीशन में बिजनेस और ज़्यादा अच्छा होता है. बिजनेस क्वालिटी यू हैव टू इम्प्रूव द क्वालिटी. बिजनेस के बेस्ट टाइम आफ्टर सो कंपटीशन
It is good for business.
यस.
करके
ये एक चीज है, एजुकेशन सेक्टर में आपका जो कंपनीज जो रहती है ना, तो स्केलेबल बिजनेस नहीं है. मतलब आपको 500, 250, 500, 1000 तक आ जाए, लेकिन उससे आगे नहीं पहुंच पाते हैं. ऐसे कोई कंपनीज नहीं, जैसे मतलब दूसरे प्लेटफॉर्म कंपनीज बता रहा है, वहाँ पे रेवेन्यूज एक्सपोनेंशियली इंक्रीज होता है, वो ये पर्टिकुलर सेक्टर में नहीं होता है.
which I agree with you, but this is the only sector which is very very profitable.
वो प्रॉफिटेबल है, लेकिन एग्जिट्स विल बी डिफिकल्ट. The secondary acquisition is the only way we can get out of these exits. दूसरा ऑप्शन नहीं है.
ठीक है. Since you picked up education, let's go to the education. Open our report now, education report. I'll give you what we are, on this. Yeah, let's show the report. Print out. बाद में लेकर better. एक बार. So, and since you raised this question, I thought
on the proprietary side, the business is very profitable.
No.
On the
So I'll answer that.
अच्छा है, लेकिन वो इक्विटी में कन्वर्ट होके आईपीओ में कन्वर्ट होना, इट्स अ वेरी डिफिकल्ट थिंग.
No. Let me try to answer this question because it's a fair question.
How we will navigate over?
Yeah. ठीक है. No, we will answer this question. This is a soft copy of the report. This report you can keep it and read at your leisure. But let me walk you through this report as well. It's okay. Yeah. So just give me 2 minutes of yours. Up देखो. But this is very critical. So when we came out with this report, बाइजू का fiasco हुआ था, बोला education तो बेकार है, dead है, right? And say यार, is it education dead, right? So quickly go to the slides. Go back to the thing. So if you see in 2022, education raised $10 billion. But उसके पहले अगर आप देखें total education, उसके पहले $18 billion, माने 2-3 साल में $10 billion रेज हुआ. It was crazy, abnormal high पैसा हुआ. Go to the next slide. ठीक है, correct? Go, yeah. ठीक है. And most of the money have been raised by Byju's, Unacademy. So it was very concentrated. 1 or 2 players के पास ही पैसा गया. क्यों हुआ आप मुझे बताइए. This is very very interesting because this is fundamental and this will answer partly your question, but I will answer the question as well. ये इसलिए हुआ है कि every investor in India know that education is a consumer sector. पहला चीज तो ठीक है. आपकी डिमांड इतनी है कि इट्स अनबिलीवेबल. और एक जन को आप 0 एज से 20 साल तो है ही, बट अभी तो 20 से 50 साल तक भी लर्निंग की है. करेक्ट. सो पीपल हैव रियलाइज कि अगर एक बार मेरे पास कस्टमर आ गया, वो 20 साल तक गया, कंटिन्यूस मुझे पैसा देने वाला है. सो दैट, और डिमांड ऐसी है कि नॉट ओनली लॉन्ग टर्म वैल्यू, लाइफ टाइम वैल्यू, बट इलास्टिसिटी भी है. 5 रुपए का 10 रुपया भी करोगे तो पब्लिक आएगी. So it's truly a consumer sector. And when they find a good company, everyone want to lap into that company. So that's the demand, which is the reality, and that's why all this company got overcapitalized. But your question is, यार मुझे going back to old question, यार मुझे तो पैसा से मतलब है, equity return से मतलब है. भाई तू बता क्या हो रहा है. Let's go.
एग्जिट्स कैसे मिलेंगे?
Exactly. How many of you have heard of companies like education initiatives? How many of you have heard of K-12 Technology? NIT is a listed company. आपने सबने सुना होगा. Imaticus कितना जन ने सुना है? None. Right? That's the beauty. And all these companies, चलो मैं मानता हूँ, आप भी मानते हो, 100 करोड़ का एबिटा होगा तो लिस्टिंग आराम से हो जाएगी. उससे नीचे नहीं होना चाहिए. मैं नहीं बोल रहा 20 करोड़ एबिटा, नहीं बोल रहा हूँ मैं. क्राइजेक आपने सुना? क्राइजेक लिस्टेड कंपनी है एजुकेशन में, 650 करोड़ की रेवेन्यू और 250 करोड़ का नेट प्रॉफिट।
ओके,
ठीक है, सो विल गेट इनटू दैट। व्हाट इट शोड मी दैट ये असेसमेंट कंपनी, ये प्री स्कूल और अभी K-12 भी हो गया, एडवर्टाइजेज ऑन हायर एजुकेशन कंपनी, ये 3,500-4 हजार करोड़ की रेवेन्यू कर रहा है अभी। इमार्टिकस जो मैंने बोला 500, K-12 टेक्नो इज अबाउट 600 करोड़ रेवेन्यू एंड अबाउट 200 करोड़ प्रॉफिट। नेक्स्ट वेव इज 300 करोड़ रेवेन्यू, 80 करोड़ ऑफ प्रॉफिट। स्किलमेटिक्स 280 करोड़ ऑफ रेवेन्यू, 40 करोड़ ऑफ प्रॉफिट। डिफरेंट एरियाज ऑफ एजुकेशन में है, ठीक है, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, एंड ऑल ऑफ देम आर प्रॉफिटेबल। बट व्हाई ऐसा क्यों नहीं हो रहा? गो टू दिस यार, एजुकेशन एक ही बिजनेस है जहाँ पे वन हैज टू बी वेरी वेरी क्लियर, ये पेशेंट्स का बिजनेस है और आउटकम बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। आप ऐसा नहीं सोचोगे कि भैया आज मेरे पास 2 स्कूल है, कल जाके मैं 100 स्कूल खोल दूं, पैसा आप दे दो, मंग नहीं होता है। बहुत पेशेंस चाहिए, ब्रांड बिल्डिंग चाहिए, भरोसा चाहिए, और एक बार भरोसा टूटता ना, टप करके पब्लिक निकल जाती है, राइट। इनफैक्ट अभी तो और भी हो गया, बिकॉज कांदी बोरीवली में इतनी स्कूल्स आ गई है, गोरेगांव में इतनी स्कूल्स आ गई है, जूहू में इतनी स्कूल आ गई है कि आज के दिन अगर अच्छी स्कूल है, पीपल रेडी टू चेंज इट वेरी क्विकली फॉर अ गुड। इनफैक्ट जूहू विच वाज अ रेसिडेंशियल एरिया नाउ हैव बिकम मोर लाइक अ हॉस्टल एंड स्कूल एरिया, कंप्लीटली रिवोल्यूशनाइज हो गया, राइट। इट्स जस्ट गॉन क्रेजी, एंड द रीजन इज दैट्स द डिमांड वी आर सिटिंग ऑन इट, राइट करके। सो गोइंग बैक टू योर आंसर, there are a lot of companies in the education sector. I think next 10 years में at least few dozen companies within the education sector will come and get listed. That is where we believe is going to be the biggest differentiation which is going to come. And all these companies जो देखी ना, इससे और 2-3 डजन है। The beauty is कि now people have realized that yes, education में शांति से आपको काम करना पड़ेगा and you will make tons of money. So today if you look at KKR, Lighthouse में है, they've been acquiring company. Blackstone, number 1, got into education. I'm just talking about the big names. Kedara Private Equity Fund, K-12 Techno. All these funds, like Kedara का target itself is that, hey, I want to get K-12 Techno listed at a 25,000 crore market cap. Eruditus, जो आपने देखा, is going to get listed between 15,000 to 30,000 market cap, right? So a lot of education companies are going to get listed, and next 10 to 15 years, you will see the maturity of the sector in a very, very big way. Unfortunately, what has happened is people wanted to rush up, और rush up से नहीं होगा, आपको quality से करना पड़ेगा. That is what we need to have a little bit of a patience, and that is where and अब देखिए education सामने NCT सर्विस कितनी, hostels कितनी हॉस्टल अभी लाइन से हॉस्टल लिस्ट होने वाली है, राइट। इट्स अ डिराइव्ड प्रोडक्ट ऑफ एजुकेशन।
प्रोप्राइटरी लेवल पे एवरीथिंग इज प्रॉफिटेबल।
नो आई एग्री विद यू, दैट्स व्हाई लिस्टिंग हो रही है ना अभी। दैट्स द व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू से, 2 चीज हो रही है, मर्जर्स भी हो रहा है और लिस्टिंग भी हो रही है, दोनों हो रहा है। लेट्स टेक एन एग्जांपल ऑफ इमार्टिकस लर्निंग। इमार्टिकस acquired 4 companies, now they are 500 crore revenues and profitable. K-12 Techno acquired Navneet Bed acquired the Jaipur का chain of Central Academy करके, or we talk about Lighthouse or Eurokids has been changed to Lighthouse as well. They acquired Heritage India. So all this is the what the message मैं आपको बोला, both mergers and acquisition and IPO is now happening in the education sector. This is the beginning of it. ऐसी बहुत होने वाली है। प्लस अगर आप देखिए प्रैक्टिकली, गवर्नमेंट इज नाउ अलाउड फॉरेन यूनिवर्सिटीज टू हैव कैंपसेस इन इंडिया। सो बहुत thousands of crores of all these campuses are like, all the universities are making between 1,000 crores of revenue to 500 crores of profit, right? So a lot of
Indian universities.
yeah. So a lot of these are now going to get listed through a private limited structure and all that. So that's the revolution which is happening now in the education sector. So then next 10 years, as I mentioned to you, and I still believe, couple of dozen companies within the education sector is going to get listed. Lighthouse, which has the Eurokids brand, in Bangalore itself, they've got 150 centers. And the reason ये हो रहा ना कि इंडिया का, अगर आप देखें म्यूचुअल फंड्स भी, म्यूचुअल फंड मार्केट लास्ट 6 years have grown abnormally. The broking has gone abnormally because there is always what I call is the tipping point. in every part of it. That tipping point has come up. आप बताइए डेंसिटी हो गई कि एवरी 100 मीटर में एक सैलून उसका
करेक्ट
क्यों पहले नहीं हुआ और अभी क्यों हो रहा है राइट आप सोचिए कि आप जहाँ रहते हैं उसके ठीक सामने इतनी चेन ऑफ स्कूल्स है सब तोड़ रहे हैं और लंबा बिल्डिंग बना रहे क्यों बिकॉज दे रियलाइजिंग दैट द डिमांड इज सो हाई ठीक है इट्स अ ह्यूज अपॉर्चुनिटी मुझे बड़ा बिल्डिंग करना मुझे बनना है दिस एंटायर थिंग व्हाट आई एम सेइंग इज द जे कर्व बोलते हैं ना द टिपिंग पॉइंट हैव स्टार्टेड नाउ एंड दैट्स व्हाई यू विल सी लॉट ऑफ दिस थिंग एक्चुअली हैपनिंग go to the last slide before we move to this no, yeah बस see this is the size of the sector देखो कितना underfunded है early childhood education is a $6 billion let me ask you one question everyone is aware that 0 to 6 years में 95% brain development होता है how many of us including me actually वो aware कि ये reality है नहीं था अवेयरनेस ही नहीं थी सो मैं बोला ओनली इन 0 to 6 years which is a $6 billion sector इसी में कम से कम there will be few hundred companies which will come education toys if you see the last 6 years has just grown up massive skillmatics एक कंपनी दिखाई एक which is that how can I forget साइंस वाली कौन सी कंपनी है पलक साइंस बॉक्स हाँ आइंस्टाइन बॉक्स वगैरह Now, Einstein Box, how many of us know, has become 120, now it's going to 250 crores of revenue and 40 crores of profit. So all these companies, as they become large, will become profit because India का वो जो Jacob आता ना, it has come now. Everything is needs that tipping point for it to go up, right? That tipping point is there. This is we are talking about, and this report is all for you. But this is the largest opportunity you can talk about in India. In fact, if any of the HNIs who says मेरे पास 30 करोड़ है, मैं बोला कुछ मत करो सर, स्कूल खोलो आप, थोड़ा अच्छा लोकेशन, बेसिक्स काम करो तो भी आपको 30% प्रॉफिट मार्जिन मिल जाएगा और कोई एक्वायर करने के लिए लाइन से लगे हैं will acquire K-12 school or acquire universities across the board. In fact, I don't know whether I should call it now as a prediction, but in next 5 years to 7 years, clear होने वाला है for-profit schools and not-for-profit schools because as such schools are making profit. So it's a matter of time when the government say, "Yeah, I'm losing tax, I'm losing GST. Why not?" And that's why so many funds have got into it. वो जब होगा तब आप देखो और exponential growth हो जाएगा, right? So this is the time when I believe is that 10 years is going to be an explosion growth. Cool. So, as I mentioned, I don't know whether I've been able to answer your question or not, but at least what I can tell you is that the trend is there. And the visibility of trend is with what we see physically, where you stay, plus data also shows across India, including big PE funds.
What has been the growth for the preceding 5 years?
किसका?
जो आप बता रहे हो ना?
हाँ.
Growth.
Segment wise अलग-अलग है. For example, the preschool and early childhood has been growing by more than 20%. K-12 has been growing by about 10%. Higher education, हमारा gross enrollment ratio, which is that कितने 12 के बाद college या university जाते हैं globally, if I compare US or even China, is more than 60%. India is just 20%. वो 18-20 का बीच जाके 25 touch हो रहा 28. But because of the online education, so for example, आपको forget about anything. डिस्टेंस एजुकेशन का मतलब क्या होगा कि आप घर में बैठ के पढ़ाई कर सकते हो आपको मालूम है कि लीगली अगर मेरे पास वो डिग्री है डिग्री इन द सेंस लाइसेंस है बिकॉज ऑफ अ लूप होल लीगली में डिस्टेंस एजुकेशन स्टेट जुरिसडिक्शन था कि मैं स्टेट के बाहर किसी को डिस्टेंस एजुकेशन नहीं दे सकता सो लॉट ऑफ प्लेस कुडंट डू इट देन इन 2023 द गवर्नमेंट केम आउट विद अ क्लियर पॉलिसी ऑफ ऑनलाइन एजुकेशन करके उसके बाद the growth in online education has gone multifold. How many would have heard of a company called Mangalatam or a university called Mangalatam in UP? In UP. नहीं सुना होगा, right? उसने online distance education का approval आया. In a mere fact, in couple of years, they're touching online teaching, they're touching few 100 crores of revenue and profitable.
100 crores revenues.
And profitable.
How many years?
Couple of years.
2 years.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying, that's the curve which has come. बहुत जगह clarity नहीं थी, ऐसे clarity आ रहे हैं, you're seeing a large growth coming. मैंने टेक्निकली आप पूछोगे भाई मामाअर्थ क्या है, बेबी प्रोडक्ट्स है, फर्स्ट क्राई भी बेबी प्रोडक्ट्स है, क्या उसने अलग किया, ये 10 साल में कैसे नया हो गया, राइट? सो अगर वहां पे अगर आप देख रहे हो क्या बेचता, कपड़ा बेचता, साबुन बेचता, यही बेचता ना, टॉयज बेचता, विच इज इन ऑल प्रैक्टिकल सेंस इट इज 10-15% ऑफ योर टोटल स्पेंड. एजुकेशन इज अ लार्जर इलस्ट्रेटिव प्रोडक्ट यहाँ पे होने ही वाला है. That's why First Cry also got into preschools as well. So a lot of this transformation is happening now. So as I mentioned, financial service, education, we were the investors for 15 years. We just added one more sector, healthcare, because we believe healthcare में भी काफी revolution हो रहा है. Next 20 years के हिसाब से देखो, whether it is everyone पहले 5 साल के 10 साल में भी कोई लैब टेस्ट नहीं करता था, अभी every year करते रहते, right? हम नहीं करते तो बच्चे परेशान करते. You know, that's the truth. Awareness of wellness, mental health. So this is why we've added. However, if I would be honest, we don't understand this sector. हमें 2-3 साल लगेगा to understand this sector. The way we understand education, financial services, we are yet to understand healthcare sector. But we thought it's worth for us to add that sector in this fund. Co-founder approach. This is, in my view, this couple of points are very, very core. We are not investors. We are business builders. मैं 10 कंपनी में नहीं डालूंगा, मैं 5 से 7 कंपनी में डालना चाहता हूं हम लोग. एंड आइडिया इज टू बिल्ड बिजनेसेस, राइट? सो हम लोग नहीं देखेंगे यार इसमें थोड़ा दे दो, उसको थोड़ा दे दो. हम लोग वी आर बिजनेस माइंडसेट एंड दैट्स द अप्रोच व्हिच वी हैव. दैट्स व्हाई वी कॉल इट अ को-फाउंडर अप्रोच. वी ऑलवेज टेक अ बोर्ड सीट. Without the board seat, we will never make an investment. And not only that, we'll join the board. You invest in a lot of VCs, right? अब कोई भी VC को पूछ लीजिए, how many of them actually join the board?
Some of them they actually get into the board.
I'm glad, but most of the VCs whom I know, they don't want to join the board in early stage. क्योंकि risk are very high of compliance, governance, personal liability आ जाती है ना board की. In a matured company, yes, but we join the board because a very simple reason. We are more like a business builders and want to help to companies. Hence, we are investing into 5 to 7 companies and only 2 sectors. Healthcare we just added. It's as simple. What business we understand, वहीं पे हम लोग करेंगे. जो नहीं समझना तो नहीं करना. It's as simple as formula this. Rigorous portfolio management we follow. Maybe Palak, you want to give some example of this portfolio management out here?
So basically in portfolio management, one is before even remitting the money to the company, we make a proper 30, 60, 90-day plan which is approved by all the IC members and even agreed by the founders. And basis they plan their, so before even investing we get into the business strategy with the founders. After post investment we do for first 6 months we actually go and visit the company and do a monthly meeting with them face to face, be it in Mumbai or even in other states. We visit them and do a proper monthly meeting where we have a full MIS pack which will include all your from P&L, cash flow to all the other operation MIS also, from like marketing, sales. We go through each and every segment, do a proper 2-day I would say like a workshop with the founder and also plan on the next steps. So that we do for first 6 months, so that in the first 6 months itself we know what the strengths. Obviously we know it even before making investment, but we know further how it will execute and do we need any changes in the plan. So that's how we closely monitor the portfolio company, and we also make sure that once we invest, we make sure that if they don't have a quality auditor, we change their statutory auditors also, so that the governance of the company is also maintained and the auditor is also a qualified good one, which will also give a proper financial statements.
No, and just to give you perspective, what do you mean by hands-on? We'll give you more examples. 1 to 3 years, 5 to 20 crores of revenue, 7.5, 30% stake. But this is key. All our companies in 2 years have to become profitable. We are not the guys who will ever invest in a company जो बोलते हैं ना, just keep on raising capital and have this. No, I don't think so. We understand that. मुझे समझ में नहीं आता. We want to. So for us, very simple. Hey, I want to go 100%. नहीं, तो 50% grow करो, but grow profitable. It's a long-term sustainable business, is what I would call it. Is what we would like to build it. That's as simple as that. Yeah. Okay. This has been a journey which I spoke about. We raised BLinC1, this return. Go to specifics on this.
This was the proprietary.
Proprietary money. Yeah. Correct. So this was the proprietary, as I mentioned to you. Eduvance, we exited to Sequoia Capital, right? Emoticus, which is going to get listed. Now it's a 5 crores tha, 500 crores. Come. Hey. Yeah. Hi, Amit. So this is a portfolio. So this proved it that was investing into few companies. Can we make a difference or not? And let's say Gen Next. आप बोल रहे थे exit. Education company, online tutoring नहीं अच्छा चला because we were so focused on few sector, we know the entire ecosystem, entire network. So we sold it to Navneet Education, which is a listed company. See, that's the benefit for us also. Today you talk about the top 25 universities in India, even long tail also. बहुत सारे schools, we will know all the founders. Top education companies, they will know us, we will know them. Right? Globally, funds which are only focused in the education sector, we will know them. Right? The same is true in financial services as well. Top CEOs of the banks and to karke. Q, because A, they help us to understand what not to do. If I have to exit, I know isko main dunga, so they will perfectly fit. So a lot of these benefits are there in only focusing if you're only into sales, because you understand the ecosystem, you know what other revolution is going to happen, right? On this. So that's how we do on this. So this is prove the thesis. This is a fund 2, which we launched, a formal 100 crore fund.
In fund 1, the 6x returns is, the performance fees will not be considered because it's a proprietary.
Correct. तो आप वो भी अगर आप निकाल दोगे, तो practically, if you ask me, it is 10x return. मैं कम दिखाते हैं, but even if I take this out, it is more than 5.5, 5.8 times multiple return. So we did all the calculation, gross IRR, net IRR. आप कैसे भी करेंगे, it is much more than 5.5x. Emoticus only is a part exit 10x, right? I invested when they were doing 5 crores of revenue at 23 crore pre-money and 42 crore pre-money. Conservatively, listing price will be about 2,500 to 3,000 crores.
Okay. So which is almost 50x of what you invested.
That's what I'm saying.
100x.
जो भी है, I'm not even तो मैंने तो 10x part exit जो हुआ उसी का मैं consider कर रहा हूँ, which also at a 650 crores or 600 crores.
600 crore पे आपने 10x बताया, तो मतलब 2,500 तो 40x हो गया ना?
हाँ जो भी है मैं बोल रहा हूँ whatever the number, yeah, you are right. और 5,500 होगा तो 100 crores of revenue है, ठीक है. वन कैन आर्ग्यू 15 टाइम्स एबिटा होना चाहिए या 25 टाइम्स एबिटा प्लस ये हो चुका है वो इन पब्लिक मार्केट देंगे वो 1 year forward. एंड इफ आई से 1 year forward में अगर 150 करोड़ का एबिटा होगा तो क्या वैल्यूएशन हो सकती है, बट आई वांट टू बी कंजर्वेटिव, आई से चलो 100 करोड़.
एंड हाउ मेनी इयर्स?
This took me about 10 odd years. Exit took me 8 years, 9 years करके.
And what percentage of that 100 rupees was Emoticus?
Okay, so this entire portfolio was 20 odd crores.
So this is fund 1, right?
Yeah, BLinC1. It was not a fund, it was my money along with my few of my friends. And this would be about 6 odd crores. In Emoticus would be about 6 odd crores.
Out of 21?
Yes.
So 30% of the...
Yes. This slide, if you see a DNA, आप बोले थे 21-22 पीक था. मेरे बैंक अकाउंट में कमिटेड 100 crores थे. एक इन्वेस्टमेंट. आप बोलोगे क्यों? Exactly the reason which you know. overhyped market, too much of capital is getting deployed. मुझे नहीं समझ में आ रहा तो मैं क्यों डालूं पैसा? Simple. I stopped it. How many VCs, and I'm putting this as genuinely with humbleness, but a challenge also. कितना VC है बोले यार मुझे पैसा नहीं डालना है?
बहुत कम है.
नहीं, मैं तो
90% वो ना नहीं बोलते हैं.
We were so conservative. 22 में एक 23 आप सोचो 6-member team, एक इन्वेस्टमेंट इन अ ईयर मींस आप क्या कर रहे हो, राइट? इनफैक्ट मुझे नहीं समझ में आ रहा था कि यार मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ खुद. मतलब लेट्स डू द राइट थिंग व्हाट वी बिलीव इन. So that defines our DNA. We are only motivated by building businesses. We are only motivated by earning carry for us. और कुछ motivation नहीं है. And what we believe we'll invest, what we don't believe we'll not invest. Simple. That's why I'm using the word again and again. We are business builders. Our mindset is business mindset. And yes, with this mindset, we have made mistakes. So please don't get me wrong. Have we made mistake? We would have made a tons of mistakes, and every time it's learning for us. And we can talk about mistakes also. ऐसा नहीं बोलूँगा मैं mistake नहीं हुआ है. But that's part of life. We make mistake and not to repeat again. But definitely we are business builders.
What were those mistakes?
I was waiting for that. That's why मैंने नहीं बोला. ये कोई तो पूछेगा क्या हुआ. See, कॉइन के दोनों साइड होते हैं ना. आप एग्रेसिव हो वो अच्छा है, बट वो होता है. तो इसकी जो मिस्टेक है कि वी आर सो बिजनेस बिल्डर्स फ्रॉम अ माइंडसेट पर्सपेक्टिव दैट यार ये कंपनी में ना 4 चीज अच्छी है, 2 चीज नहीं है, हम इसको फिक्स कर दें, हमें आता है, ठीक है, विच इंक्लूड्स द फाउंडर ऑल्सो. बट समटाइम्स है ना आपको बहुत कुछ फिक्स नहीं करनी चाहिए, क्योंकि इन्वेस्टमेंट करने के बाद भी सरप्राइजेस मिलते हैं ना. तो क्यों करनी चाहिए? अरे यार ये मालूम है कैसे फिक्स होगा, ABCD करेंगे कर जाए. I'm telling you, theoretically we are not wrong, practically we are not wrong what we are saying. But there are founders who intention are there, but DNA नहीं है. आप समझे हो? वो चीज हम लोग ने अभी वो भूल हो गई. तो what now we are saying that हमारा operating mindset DNA नहीं change होने वाला. We can't change it because that's a DNA. But we are more mindful saying that यार अगर बहुत ज्यादा कुछ फिक्स करना है ना तो नहीं करना चाहिए हमें. That is something we want to take back. So that was one mistake, if you ask me. That's the only mistake which we want to rectify now. That's it. But I don't think so. We got any time carried away with the market or this. Mistake was more internal than external. So I don't want to say yet external factors. हमें नहीं फर्क पड़ता. In fact, there are times आप DD होके हम लोग ने भी walk away with the deal because नहीं आया था comfort of the founder. So that DNA you will see I edit on this. But 5 to 8 companies, माने is still going to be a DNA. Handful of companies. अगर मुझे 5 अच्छी मिले तो छठा में भी क्यों डालो? That's how I look at it, right? करके. What we will do is, Chinmay, just give 1 or 2 examples of Finag or business, just to give them a perspective about finance and maybe one thing also. Yeah.
Vital you had already exited.
So again,
At what X?
no, we didn't make money. We lost 30% of our capital. So again, it defines. ये कंपनी में मिस्टेक की. Very important piece. We made a mistake during COVID. एक डाला था कंपनी पास कम से कम 2 साल का और रनवे था. 2 नहीं तो चलो 1.5 साल का रनवे था. We didn't wait till last. We became like literally founder के साथ प्यार मोहब्बत से थोड़ा पुश करके बात की. भाई तू 18 महीना भी रहेगा तो आउटकम कुछ नहीं होने वाला, तो अभी बेच के खत्म करो. So we exited. We got at least 70% of our capital back. अगर मैं 18 महीना तक वेट करता वो भी नहीं मिलता. So this is our DNA. So in 2 years अगर हमें मालूम है कि डायरेक्शनली कंपनी बहुत अच्छा नहीं कर रही है और हमारा प्रॉफिटेबल नहीं है, मैं उसको पहले ही बेचूंगा एंड प्रोटेक्ट माय कैपिटल. और मेरा सिंपल फॉर्मूला है कि अगर 100 करोड़ का फंड है, ठीक है, मैंने एक कंपनी में 15 करोड़ डाला, विच इज हाउ वी इन्वेस्ट ऑल्सो. अगर वो कंपनी 5x भी दे दे, दैट मीन 75% तो पैसा आ गया. तो मुझे 2 कंपनी चाहिए टू गेट 1.5x, ज्यादा नहीं. जो कंपनी नहीं अच्छा करे उसका मैं कैपिटल भी प्रोटेक्ट कर दूं तो कंजर्वेटिवली मैं तो 2x इन्वेस्टर को दे दूंगा, which is still better rather than trying to get all in all out. तो वो हमारा DNA ही नहीं है. This is the approach which we do. So खराब है मिस्टेक की, move on. Simple. That's one. Other piece also, I would say not to that extent. Valuation now we are even more clear. मुझे सब कंपनी की valuation 100 से नीचे ही होनी चाहिए, compulsory. उस time there were 1 or 2 companies which we invested little more expensive. I think it's a judgment call. Like Finag, we invested. Is a supply chain finance company. We'll talk about it. डाला था 130-140 करोड़ वैल्यूएशन में, थोड़ा एक्सपेंसिव बट डूइंग एक्सट्रीमली वेल. दिस इज अ कंपनी रेज 100 crores एंड इसके बैंक अकाउंट में 150 करोड़ है
अभी
हैड वी इन्वेस्टेड, हम लोग यार इसको 150 130 135 करोड़ नहीं 100 करोड़ में डाल दे तो और अच्छा होता, दैट्स इट, बट द कंपनी इज डूइंग अमेजिंगली वेल, राइट, he'll talk about more, but to give you perspective how we do, अगर नहीं है we very very clear, hands on तो आप माने आप कोई भी कंपनी में किसी को भी पूछो या रात को 2 बजे भी नंबर्स से लेके टीम से लेके सब कुछ मालूम होगा, to that extent she can go and become the CEO and he can go and become CEO. Two level we go in depth of every company. Give an example of Finag, maybe, just to give perspective. I said it is fine, don't have to get into the numbers.
Finag invested about 4 years back. So they are a supply chain fintech based out of Delhi. So what they do is they partner with large anchor brands like HUL, ITC, Dabur. For immediate details that they give loan to that. So it's a short-term loan ranging from 10 days to 45 days. Only for buying inventory. So closed loop product, the bar uses it's only for buying the inventory. The invested about 4 years back. That time the revenue was about 80 lakhs per month and they were earning about 30-40 lakhs a month. Today fast forward 4 years, the revenue itself is about 7 crores a month and they're doing about 2 crores of monthly profit. Why this 30-35 anchor brands? In terms of the annual revenue, FY26 they closed at about 65 crores. Today the MR is about 8 to 9 crores a month already. When we invested, we put in about 15 crores. After around they raised one more large round. They raised about 80 crores from 3 large investors. Tata Capital, which is a part of Tata Group. Citi, which is a government fund of funds. And then the impact fund for Vivo After Capital, they also invested. They recently got the NBFC license as well. So they're raising a small round of about 200 crores, mainly to capitalize the NBFC. So very simple product, very tech-driven, combination of tech plus people on street.
Go to MB show, just to give you a glimpse of company. But we want to talk about, so again, before we start, all our companies which we launch, we have actually created our own report. I'll do it. No, just wait, I'll do it. We have created, like when we invest into BizLoan or this, we launch our own report into MNCB financing, and like जब हम लोगों ने Finag देखा था, we would have seen 30 odd companies. Study abroad, we launch our own report. कितनी कंपनी देखी होगी? गिव मी अ आइडिया स्टडी अब्रॉड के लिए 150 कंपनी. ओवरऑल वी वुड हैव मेट और सीन 3000 कंपनीज ओवर अ 5-year पीरियड, 4-year पीरियड.
तो कितनी कंपनी सक्सेसफुल हुई है? मेरे मतलब
नहीं सक्सेसफुल इसलिए रिजेक्ट की ना, बहुत सारी नहीं हुई तो. बट व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू टेल यू, दैट्स द फनल आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट. ऑब्वियसली सब लोग अगर सब सक्सेसफुल होगा तो अच्छा ही है, होता भी नहीं है ना, करेक्ट. तो दैट्स व्हाई व्हाट आई एम सेइंग 3000 कंपनी देखने में 6 इन्वेस्टमेंट किया. दैट्स द फनल, दैट्स द लेवल ऑफ ड्यू डिलिजेंस व्हिच वी डू.
ये स्टडी अब्रॉड वाला जो थीम है ना, बहुत सारी कंपनीज आई हुई है, बहुत सारी वीसीज ने पैसे डाला हुआ है, लेकिन किसी का भी स्केल अप अभी तक नहीं हुआ है.
Trizex स्टडी लिस्टेड 600 करोड़ रेवेन्यू, 300 करोड़ प्रॉफिट. आई कैन गिव यू मैंने आप इसमें सॉरी बट आपको नाम क्या है? हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू हैव हर्ड ऑफ अ कंपनी कॉल्ड अवांस?
अवांस हाँ सुना है.
स्टडी अब्रॉड कंपनी लोन करती देती है, 25,000 करोड़ का मार्केट कैप, जस्ट वेटिंग फॉर टू गेट लिस्टेड. ठीक है, आई कैन गिव यू डजन ऑफ नेम्स, आई कैन गिव यू इन दिस. और बहुत सारी कंपनीज अभी लिस्ट आने होगी. It's a large market, $45 billion की मार्केट साइज है स्टडी अब्रॉड.
और अभी तक कितना फंडिंग है?
कुछ ही नहीं हुआ, हार्डली फंडिंग हुआ, बिकॉज इट वाज वेरी ओके. लेट मी पुट इट, इंडिया में आप तो अग्री करते हो, एनीथिंग व्हिच इज अनऑर्गेनाइज्ड है मूविंग टू ऑर्गेनाइज्ड मार्केट.
इट इज हैपनिंग.
तो स्टडी अब्रॉड यही है, नथिंग एल्स. दिस इज स्टडी अब्रॉड. इट्स अ सुपर अनऑर्गेनाइज्ड मार्केट. एवरी गली में बोलेगा मैं फॉरेन बेच रहा हूँ, ये बेच रहा हूँ. Now someone is becoming an organized player, giving standardization, quality and everything. You talk about Amisha, I'll get the reports.
So,
नहीं बैठ थोड़ा सा ठीक है.
नहीं कोई नहीं, कंटिन्यू, क्योंकि ज़्यादा उसमें डिस्टर्ब नहीं करना चाह रहा है.
अच्छा ये सुनो,
they get a commission and they make a money. But Hindi show, they don't charge anything from the universities, so they don't
Report on study abroad, report on MSc, just for everyone's cricket.
So they partner, but not from a revenue making perspective, just to build a relationship, they do it, and the revenue model is from the students. So they only charge the students on the admission counseling. And second differentiator which they have is, so with this charging student, they are very much student centric. They will give suggestions based on the student profile and not on the basis that university needs this many students, so I will send this 10 students to this university. So very career oriented, which will help the student to get in the best university. And the second is, it is a tech enabled platform also. So if we go to a traditional counselor, the limitation of a counselor will be maybe 50 universities, usme like another 25 courses they will be able to give a suggestion. But with the technology, you can give n number of suggestions to the student based on the profile of the student. Ki agar ye student, because every student will be different and the interest will also fall in a different area. So this two particular point makes this company a differentiator. So we invested them in last year, January 25, when they were like, this was very early stage, one of the company where we invested. They were
Because we believed in this sector. कोई है ही नहीं, यूनिक मॉडल में कोई नहीं था.
इनफैक्ट जो लेवरेज एडयू है, वो भी इनफैक्ट दे आर आल्सो चार्जिंग द यूनिवर्सिटी, एंड देयर मार्केट इज द मास मार्केट गोइंग, जो माइग्रेट्स होते हैं उनको अब्रॉड भेजना. एंड दिस पर्टिकुलर कंपनी विल फोकस mid-market, where parents would be first-time parents who are sending their kids abroad. They may have not gone abroad. Those is the market we are targeting. Because उसके higher premium वाले तो फिर Red Pen वगैरह हो जाएंगे, Athena, वो लोग वहाँ जाएंगे. They won't come to this particular. So when we invested last year, they were doing 25 lakhs of revenue per month, and now as on today, last month they did 3 crores of revenue per month.
And profitable.
So like within, I would say 18 months, they are moved from 25 to not even 18 months, but within 15 something months, they have moved from 25 lakhs to 3 crores of revenue per month. So that's the whole journey which has happened after, from when we invested. And it's obviously they have set up their whole, with our support, they have set up the whole sales team, have start up multiple acquisition channel, and not only depending on marketing channel. So that all the inputs we generally give it and do it when we invest in the company.
Total funding 15 crore.
We have the company has raised 15 crores till now.
अच्छा.
We put about 8.
Yeah, we put about 8 crores in this. So we came out. So again, see what I'm trying to put it. We are very theme-based investor. Okay, we are not the momentum guys. यार ये नहीं चलेगा. Like सब लोग बोल रहे हैं, study abroad में US में issue है, यहाँ पे issue है, वहाँ पे issue है. Let's be honest on this. India में IB schools are 200 है, और वो exponentially grow हो रही है. IJC school 1000 है. If I took the premium. In general कोई भी parent को पूछे यार कहाँ पर है यार, अगर उसके पास थोड़ा ज़्यादा है यार मैं overseas भेजूँगा. It's become almost like a standard. यार ये करके मैं ओवरसीज भेजता हूँ अंडरग्रेड में, ठीक है. तो अब 1.5 लाख बच्चे अगर ओवरसीज जाते हैं तो उसके लिए जो अप्लाई करते हैं वो 5-6 लाख होते हैं. यार मुझे तो 5 लाख रुपया 5,000 बच्चे से ही लेना है ना, तो मेरा उससे 250 करोड़ रेवेन्यू हो जाएगी. सिंपल. It's as how, but and people say नहीं होगा. That's what we have to prove. When we invested in Marticus Learning, what was the thesis? Was very simple. अगर IT एजुकेशन के लिए बोल रहे हो तो कौन सी कंपनी आती है? अगर मैं 2003 या 4 में बात करता तो कौन सी आती है आपके नाम में?
इन्फोसिस और टीसीएस आई.
नहीं, वो कंपनी है एजुकेशन पर आने वाले. कौन सी आती थी? NIT या टेक, यही दो था. मैं देखता हूँ फाइनेंशियल सर्विस सबसे बड़ा सेक्टर है इंडिया में. टेल मी वन कंपनी विच ट्रेन्स पीपल इन फाइनेंशियल सर्विसेज, ब्रांड है, दैट इज Marticus. वो थीम से डाला था मैंने. दैट्स वन. Second thing was that सब लोग 2015 में ऑनलाइन इज गोइंग टू चेंज द वर्ल्ड. मैं बोला नहीं, आउटकम इज इंपॉर्टेंट, क्लासरूम में करूंगा. प्लेसमेंट मिलेगा तो 1 लाख या 1.5 लाख रुपए भी कोर्स का दोगे ना आपको, में नौकरी मिल रही है तो. That's why this company grew. It is as simple thesis as that. And that's why we are investing into fundamental businesses. That's what I'm trying to put it out here is that study abroad में क्यों फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा है? क्योंकि मैं देखता हूँ 10 साल भी नहीं 12 साल हुआ जब उसने बोला था कोई किसी ने सोचा था आज केक हो जाएगा नहीं ना करके. But what is important is that's the trend we look at it. That's the market size we look at. That's the opportunity we look at and say can we build business around that? And businesses are built, in my opinion, with nuts and bolts के साथ. थीरो ब्रह्मा ने तो कुछ पैसा भी रेज नहीं किया था. क्यों? Because patiently धीरे-धीरे करके किया. That's it. वही हमारा मंत्र. There is no. If you ask us what is a formula of winning, formula is nothing. Execute करो यार. Does not matter कि आप कितना capital raise करते हो.
This allotment is with premium or at cost as well?
No. So we'll get to so. No. This was at premium, obviously. Yeah. Because it's. Sorry?
Lock-in period?
There is no lock-in. We are investor as an equity shareholder, and we will exit whenever we find the right exit opportunity in this. Okay. So while we talk about, let's talk about one more company like Raising Superstar, right? And I'll talk about it. Let's go. As I mentioned to you, the 0 to 6 years में 95% brain development होता है. We had a thesis on this. We again came out with a report on early childhood education. We don't have a print, or maybe we would have a print. देख लेते हैं. But we launched that report. We invested into this company. We look across the world. There is only one company in Mexico which says, as a parent को कि अगर बच्चा 2 महीना का है, 6 महीना है, 12 महीना का उसके क्या-क्या एक्टिविटीज आपको करनी चाहिए. I'm using the word activities very mindful. आप बोलोगे यार 6 महीनों को क्या एक्टिविटीज कराएंगे, right? But trust me, UNICEF, Government of India, everyone has documented on the 0 to 6 years में maximum brain development होता है. बच्चे जो प्री स्कूल नहीं जाते हैं और बच्चे जो जाते हैं उसमें जमीन और आसमान का डेवलपमेंटल है. It is documented proof. And when I say 0 to 3 years में कोई कुछ नहीं करता, it absolutely make a difference. But बोलते हैं ना, बच्चा जब होता है 5 लैंग्वेज भी सीख लेता है. वो सीखता है अगर आप बताओगे तो वो सीख लेगा, पर आप बताओगे तो ना. So this company focuses on what are the different activities a parent should perform with their child, basis of their age appropriate, right? This was the only unique company. So मैं अभी भी आपको ये बता रहा हूँ. जैसे प्री स्कूल अगर मैं 2002 में बोलता यार प्री स्कूल कौन भेजेगा, क्यों इतना धंधा होगा, आज बड़ा हो गया ना. The same thing is going to happen in early childhood education between 0 to 3 years. This is a matter of time, right? This company is doing average. I will not say it's doing very good. We talk about a couple of our good companies, to be honest. So this is a good example. Mistakes, 2 mistakes. Opportunity is still large, absolutely yes. Operationally we are making this company profitable. तो ये देखिए profitable भी हो, ये साल भी profitable आ जाएगा, वो करके. So issue is not about profit. Issue is not about the opportunity. There are certain things where something can be done and something not can be done. ठीक है? On this and I'm being mindful. This is recorded, so you can't put on the part of this, right? I don't want.
Okay, I will cut it.
Yeah, Raising Superstars का. So, as I mentioned, it's a large opportunity. Everything is good. The product is amazing. There's no question about. But let's be honest with you. There are certain founders who can execute well and certain founders who can't. That's a part of the game, and this is our era. But at the same time, what I would say is a great opportunity. At the same time, we are talking to 5 large players who want to buy this company because everyone knows that this is the one, a large opportunity within the education sector.
But when the company itself is not doing good, why will they buy? They'll rather do it by themselves, rather than buying this company.
सर वो बोलना बहुत easy है, बहुत easy है. आप मुझे बताओ ना, Reliance Group failed miserably in retail. You know that, right? क्यों? DNA नहीं है ना. बोलना बहुत easy है. पैसा, okay. On record, I'm telling, businesses are not built because of capital. पैसा आप मुझे दे दो 1000 करोड़ बिल्ड होता नहीं होता. ऑर्ग बिल्डिंग, अंडरस्टैंडिंग द डीएनए, प्रोसेसेस, एमआईएस, ये 3-4 चीज सब साथ में आता तो बिजनेस बिल्ड करता है. अदरवाइज तो जिसके पास पैसा सब बिल्ड कर देंगे ना, प्रैक्टिकली वो होता नहीं है.
पैसा तो था ही.
बायजू ने 50,000 करोड़ रेस किया था.
But still it went down.
No, बायजू तो नो पहला बाजू तो भूल जाए, मैं बोला रिलायंस ग्रुप ही देख लो ना.
Yeah, JioMart didn't work at all compared to Swiggy, Zepto, all these guys are taken out.
So what I'm trying to put it out here is that there will always be, like, if you ask me, and I'm being in the humble leader, out of 6 companies, 3 of my companies are doing Rockstar, which is a 50% hit rate, if I look at it. If I can't compare even, but otherwise he's saying that even if you get 30 to 40% good, it means you have done it, but like 50, and we know what errors we did, which I mentioned, but still we want to exit some of this company.
So if you want to divide your MOIC between the rockstar companies and the companies which are not doing well, can you just give a segregation of that?
See, simple है मेरा कि maybe I'll put it on the board. Actually,
So you have invested into 6 companies.
yeah. So yeah. From two. Yeah. Absolutely right. So let's say MB show, ठीक है? And I'm telling you the end game जो हो मुझे लग रहा है, ठीक है, दोनों जगह.
What is the present MOIC and what you are expecting?
यार MOIC तो यार देखो फंड रेज में नहीं करेगा, प्रॉफिटेबल है तो MOIC का कोई मतलब नहीं है, राइट? एंड आई एम टेलिंग यू, फॉर अस द बेंचमार्क इज नॉट अबाउट वेदर माय कंपनी इज रेजिंग कैपिटल. आप मुझे बोलोगे हर महीना यार इसकी वैल्यूएशन बढ़ रही है, नहीं बढ़ रही, मैं खुश होगा पेपर में देख के. हमारे लिए एक ही बेनिफिट है कि मैं कैश एग्जिट निकाल पा रहा हूँ कि नहीं. अदरवाइज आई विल बी ऑनेस्ट विद ऑल, अदरवाइज एनीथिंग इज क्रैप. बोलना मैं इफ आई वांट टू रेज मनी, मैं आपको MOIC सब कंपनी की 3x भी 5x भी दिखा दूंगा. वी आर नॉट लाइक दैट, एंड दैट्स व्हाई आई एम टेलिंग यू वेयर द एरर्स आर. रेजिंग सुपरस्टार आल्सो, इफ आई वांट टू शो अ डिफरेंट पिक्चर, राइट, देयर इज अ वे टू पोजीशन लॉट ऑफ दिस. वो नहीं करना मुझे, वी डोंट बिलीव इन पोजीशनिंग, ठीक है? MB शो, फिनैग, ठीक है, बिजलोन. सो बिजलोन इज अ NBFC, 20 करोड़ रेवेन्यू थी जब डाला, अभी 45 करोड़. Subject to RBI approval, a large group of investors are going to invest few hundred crores. Everything has been signed, just waiting for RBI approval, right? अगर वो उसके हिसाब से देखूँ तो उसकी मेरा ऐसे ही बहुत हुआ. But what I'm saying, I'm not even getting into lot of these things because क्या है, Vital, ठीक है, RSS, which is your raising superstar, and 42 cards, ठीक है. We believe यहाँ पे 8 करोड़ डाला था, यहाँ पे 15, यहाँ पे 15, ठीक है, यहाँ पे 6, यहाँ पे 12, यहाँ पे 15, ठीक है. This is what we had invested. We believe, and that is what we do believe it. Like
This is 17, right?
हाँ, so yes, good part. I think अच्छा हुआ आपने याद दिलाया, मैं भूल गया था. तो 100 करोड़ रेज किया, अभी तक कितना डिप्लॉय किया? 85. अभी मैं 1 रुपया भी नहीं डिप्लॉय लेने वाला हूँ.
Okay.
To the extent of management fees, deploy, because every money I take from you has to grow by 3x at least. मेरी कंपनी तो यही, मैं नया कंपनी में नहीं डालने वाला हूँ, तो क्यों मैं रेज करूँ? I would rather not raise capital or take more capital from the company.
So you have raised 85% of the.
I've drawn down 85% only. Let's say 5% और मैं draw down करूँगा for my fees, तो 90 ही होगा मेरा. So it is more beneficial for me now. 100 का 200 करना, 90 का 80 करना is very different.
Very different.
So that's how we think. यह सिंपल चीज है. मेरी 5 मेंबर की टीम है, ठीक है. फ्रॉम 2021 में अगर मैं 100 करोड़ का फंड रेज किया तो मेरी फीस कितनी आएगी? मैक्सिमम 2 CR, ठीक है, मैक्सिमम.
5 years का 10-12 CR.
ALTPORT सब मेरे से फीस तो लेंगे ही वाले हैं, सब लोग लेने वाले हैं, ठीक है. तो पुट एग्जाम्पशन 1.5 करोड़, 1.75 भी कर लो, 1.5 करोड़ कर लो, व्हाटएवर, इट डजंट मैटर, ठीक है. मेरी ऑफिस का खर्चा कितना होगा? 25 लाख. ट्रैवल एवरी कंपनी को मिलते 25 लाख और 50 लाख तो ऐसे ही हो गया. यू हैव सीन द टीम, यू हैव सीन दिस. 1 करोड़ में हमारी सबकी सैलरी मींस वी वुड बी डाउन बाय सैलरी बिटवीन 40% ऑफ द मार्केट टू 10% ऑफ द मार्केट, राइट. तो हम लोग पॉकेट से ही घर चला रहे हैं ना अपना, सब लोग. वेयर वी आर गोइंग टू अर्न मनी देन? ओनली कैरी. अभी नेक्स्ट फंड भी मैं बड़ा नहीं कर रहा हूँ. इनफैक्ट मेरा टारगेट इज 150-200 ओनली. आई विल बी मोर हैप्पी विद, अगर 150 भी विल बी मोर हैप्पी. समटाइम वी आर रेजिंग लिटिल मोर मनी जस्ट टू बी.
150 करके फिर 6 कंपनीज में कैसे होगा ना, फिर कंपनीज भी बड़ा नहीं हो गया.
नो, नॉट एवर. मैं यही करूंगा. फिनटेक मेरी बहुत अच्छा कर रही है, मुझे और पैसा इसमें डालना, बट आई कांट. फंड साइज 100 करोड़ था ना, तो my strategy is same 6 to 8, but
लेकिन आपका 10% अगर ड्रॉडाउन है तो वो लेके भी डाल सकते थे ना आप।
सॉरी नहीं, बट उसके बाद क्या हुआ कि अगर आपने इमीडिएटली एक राउंड जो है वो नहीं डाला तो यू हैव मिस्ड इट, राइट? इसलिए और क्या होगा, 1 करोड़ डालने से इज नॉट गोइंग टू मूव द नीडल।
करेक्ट।
1-2 करोड़ से देन आई वांट टू मूव, सी इफ आई पुट सब्सटेंशियल वन, 1-2 करोड़ से नॉट गोइंग टू मूव नीडल में ऐसे हो रहा है। तो दैट्स व्हाई वी प्लेड दिस थिंग करके। सो वी बिलीव इन अ वेरी कंजर्वेटिव वे दिस विल बिकम 24 करोड़, ठीक है, इन माय ओपिनियन 75 crores because it's profitable. Already it is at, now if you ask me, already this would be at 45-ish crore. But next 12 to 18 months next year, this will give us 75 crores. This will, in my opinion, इसमें तो buyback का already the agreement जो sign किया, the big investor will buy us back in 29 in a market value. So conservatively, this will be again between 60 to 70 crores. ठीक है, Vital already हमें 4 मिल ही चुका, तो उससे ज़्यादा तो हो ही नहीं पाएगा. This company can go either way. ठीक है, in my opinion it will recover 10 and let's say this also doing in 10 conservative में sort of ले रहा हूँ. क्या टोटल हो रहा है देखते हैं.
73।
अच्छा आपने कर दिया 173. ठीक है, this is the most conservative return on my company. If you say I'm not color, 183. This is the most 2x conservative. ये मेरा अच्छा भी हो सकता है, ये भी अच्छा हो सकता है, ये तो है ही. इसमें आप मेरे से डिबेट कर लो नंबर्स के मैं तो एक ही बोल रहा हूँ, द ओनली थिंग इज इन योर एंड माई हैंड इज द कंपनी इज डूइंग रेवेन्यू एंड प्रॉफिट. वो तो आप मानते हो, वो मेरे हाथ में है. ठीक है, ये प्रॉफिटेबल, ये प्रॉफिटेबल, ये प्रॉफिटेबल, वेल कैपिटलाइज, बहुत अच्छा कर रहे हैं. कंजर्वेटिवली मैं बोल रहा हूँ. दिस इज एज सिंपल फॉर्मूला एज मैं लुक एट इट. And I will not mean that, okay, both these companies still have conservatively 15 months to 2 years runway. Right, Palak? दोनों जगह. तो ऐसा नहीं बोलो खराब है. ऐसा नहीं है. आज भी हमारी सुबह बिजलो 42 कार्ड्स का कॉल था. Right? Actually speaking, they're doing very good. But मैं conservative इसलिए ले रहा हूँ because of our expectation was different, right? So that's how it is. फिर भी मुझे 2x देगा. Can this 2x become 3x? Why not? My whole target would be in the next 2 years to 2.5 years to exit each of the companies.
How it will become 3x?
This company and this company, for example, Raising Superstar जो है, they have launched something called Early Childhood Education Tutor at Home for 0 to 3 years. In 3 months, profitable revenue from 0 it has become 35 lakhs. तो अगर वो hope that business itself grows, I will not say, you can do, and there are large talks where people want to acquire these companies. By the way, इसका DIY business है, which is app business is profitable business. The new business जो है वो थोड़ा burn कर रहा है. But मुझे growth है, growth in my opinion will come from that business as well. And I'm telling you, if this biz loan, मैंने 60 बोला can become 75, this is the upside. This में 24 बोला 3x, right? So मैंने जब अब देख लीजिए, मैंने जब डाला 25 लाख की रेवेन्यू थी, आज 3 करोड़ की रेवेन्यू है पर मंथ का बोल रहा हूँ. और दिस मंथ लेट्स से 2 करोड़ की रेवेन्यू 9 करोड़ हुई, नाउ इज गोइंग टू गो टू 25 करोड़. दिस इज द रेंज. मेरी 30 करोड़ की वैल्यूएशन में हम लोग 36 करोड़ की वैल्यूएशन में डाला था. मैं 110-115 बोला हूँ, यही 36 करोड़ 200 होगी तो क्या होगा? Then this 24 can become 35 also. I'm taking a more conservative view across the board to look at it. If I look at Finag, which is a profitable companies उसके competition, Mintify and all this, then this 75 should be 125. Because competition whether it's Mintify, ProCap, none of them, Mintify just got profitable, but after raising 1800 crores or 1500 crores, these guys have just raised 100 crores. So what I'm trying to put in our DNA is building profitable business.